gente bella? What's good? What's poppin'? As usual, it's your girl Amara La Negra, and you're listening to Exactly Amara, a production of iHeart Radio. Super happy, super excited. The year is almost over. There's so many things happening. Me siento emocionada, contenta. God has blessed me with ending the year being a mommy of two. I know that I keep telling y'all, and y'all must be so tired and over, like, oh my God, every show she's talking about her pregnancy. Pero coño, what do you want me to do? My pregnancy is only gonna last a couple of months. And after that, God knows when I'm gonna be pregnant again. And it's a blessing. Like, my body is creating my own people. I am creating my own little warriors. I am creating my own, you know what I'm saying? My own entourage. So I am very excited, but at the same time, as excited as I am, I won't say that I'm excited, but I am currently a single mother, and I guess that I am a single mother by choice. Not, and I want to clarify that too, because a lot of people, they be talking shit. Oh, they got her pregnant, they dumped her, they da da da. He don't want her. That's not even close to what it is. I just chose that for my baby's sake and for myself, in order to have a happy home and a peaceful home where there weren't any, arguments and fighting. And I just didn't want to create that, that trauma. I thought that it was best for me to be a single mother. It's not that the father doesn't want to be involved. The father wants to be 1,000% involved. I just don't think that is the best move for my children's health, their mental state. Yeah. Well, a lot of parents know where I'm coming from. A lot of kids know where I'm coming from, because maybe you were raised by a single mother. Maybe you were raised in a home where there was domestic abuse. Maybe you were raised in a home where there was a lot of fighting and arguing. Maybe you were raised in a home where your parents stayed together just for the children. And you were like, I would have rather y'all to, split up, and we would have been much happier. Maybe, I don't know what type of household you were raised in, but today I want to talk about single mothers, because I was raised by a single mother, and now more than ever, I understand the struggles, and I am so grateful, and I honor my mother more than ever for understanding now as an adult all the sacrifices and all the hard things that that our parents have to go through in order to raise us and give us, the best future in life that they can provide for us. I was raised as a single daughter, but there's a lot of mothers out there that raise more than one child, and it's a lot. But someone who was part of my life growing up, and she's still part of my life, but I kind of saw her as a mother figure growing up as well, because my mom was always working, is my godmother. My godmother is such an amazing woman. She is an entrepreneur. She's a businesswoman. She also was a single mother. Not not in the beginning of her having her baby, because the father left eventually. But I almost feel like sometimes just because the father is present doesn't mean that they are necessarily present all the way. So my godmother, she is also an amazing publicist. She works here in Miami with a lot of celebrities, with a lot of artists. I never understood how she was able to be such an amazing mom, take her daughter to dance classes, take her daughter to events, activities. She was like the cool mom, and at the same time still be a businesswoman and handle her business. And that's why today I want to bring in my godmother, Miriam Angulo. She is here with us. Hi, Miriam.
Hello, my love.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for those lovely words.
Of course, of course. You know that now that I'm going through this transition, um, you know, I feel like I don't want to say that I was judgmental towards my mom, or maybe judgmental towards you, because I know that, a lot of kids can sometimes hold those grudges that our parents didn't stay with our fathers, that our parents, we feel like they should have sacrificed more for us so that we could have had our moms and dads together. But I want to know, how did you do it as a single mother? How was it for you to take that decision of, I am going to now take this responsibility for myself 100%, and I will be the mother and father for my children?
It's hard. Being Latino, our culture is very much like the older generation. They were
Mm-hmm.
very submissive, and they had these marriages that lasted forever.
Mm-hmm.
I think from my generation going, lower, um, we our visions have changed the way we think. I feel that if I can go back and do a lot of things, I would do it different. I
Mm.
stayed in my marriage, longer than I wanted because
Oh.
every time I spoke about divorce, even though he knew and he didn't want it, my parents influenced more of making me stay together. Meanwhile, my parents were divorced,
Mm.
but they were very proactive in my life. So, yes, it's hard. And then when I finally made that decision, I saw the effect that it had on my daughter, your god sister, and I wish I would have done things different. Do it from scratch. Do it from inception.
Like what? Guide me through this process because I'm still
Okay,
trying to figure this
I
out.
I found out I was pregnant and I was separated in the house, and
Mm.
the agreement was that I gave him 30 days. So he was like 2 weeks in. And I have I don't even know what the precise name is, but there's a condition where women can be pregnant and they don't even it doesn't come up on their blood work or their urine until later on. I
Mm.
had that. So I was like 4 months pregnant when I found out
Oh
and
wow.
didn't have a symptom at all. But as soon as I knew, I had every symptom imaginable.
Right. Right.
Okay. So I was separated. I kept it quiet. I told my grandmother, not even my grandmother supported my idea.
And by the
She
way,
was like, you shouldn't be with anybody that,
your family is Cuban.
right.
Just for everybody to know, when we talk
Yeah,
about
my
the like,
family's
uh
Cuban
huh,
and it's very strict and very strict upbringing. But my grandmother was very proactive or very open about abortions because when she was in Cuba, the financial situation, she went through abortions. So she told me, I was like, I think I want an abortion, but it wasn't that I wanted abortion because I didn't want my child. I just knew I didn't want to be with him
mm,
because I knew that it was a toxic
relationship.
relationship. And I was thinking about the mental state of myself and my child. And I was like, I don't want to bring my child up in that environment. So I applaud you for making that choice. It's hard. It's not easy, but you have to stand on your ground. You are mommy and daddy. As it is, even though that your mother's always been there for you, it's like the roles have reversed. Like now you're in charge of
But do you
everything.
feel there's certain? Well, I mean, you that know it, but do you think that that's almost like creating like a, repeating the cycle?
No, your situation was different than my situation, meaning when your parents split, I lived it. Remember, your first 5 years were all mine. You were literally my firstborn child.
Right.
Okay. When your parents split, it wasn't surprising, but I didn't see it coming when how everything played out.
Right.
But your mother in that relationship was always the strong one, the go-getter, the she was the hustler. She and not taking anything from your dad, but your dad's
Yeah.
um
His demeanor is
his his
different.
his personality is very
That's why
you
that's why I almost feel like I don't want to judge the women that surround me because sometimes unconsciously these can be patterns that we follow when we see the people like the strong women around us. Unconsciously, I wonder, am I somewhat repeating the cycle, the pattern of now becoming a single mother? Because it's not like I can't not be with the father of my child, but then now here goes other questions like how do you even decide to co-parent? How did you make that decision of
easily
of
you
co-parenting?
have to you have to set what okay this person your the father of your children, your sperm donor, however you want to refer to him. You
Right.
know what's good and what isn't. You know what's healthy and what isn't. Your situation is totally different because you have to be like, I'm about to have not one, two, based on what you've gone through. Do I want this, like, just for the sake of saying I'm with the father of my children? Do I want that in that hostility, that environment?
Do you ever regret not necessarily forcing but having him be more involved in your child's life? Like for example, for 2 seconds I too wonder, am I making the wrong decision? Should I, even though that I know this person and I know the pros and cons, should I allow this person to be involved in this child's life or should I do it for my child's mental health and safety and everything else to protect them and be like this is not the best environment for you? How was it for
That's
you?
You know what's good. You're developing what all mothers develop, that sixth intuition.
Mm.
You know what you've lived and do you want that. So at the end of the day, you're going to show them a positive upbringing.
Mhm.
you're going to be positive. They're going to see someone who is there for them, someone who you have your nuclear family. It's your mom,
Right.
it's you. And whether, to whatever extent, even your father is part of your life now. Okay? Um
Mm.
well, we know. Well, you know what I mean. Let me give compadre credit. Thank God he doesn't know English because you'll kill us.
But I
But
mean, well, that's different because my father's here because he don't really got too much of an option. So
right, but at the same, I know he's not hands on, but I'm just in the sense that maybe this is also a way for him to make up, because that's what I hear grandparents do. They make up for what they didn't do with their children. So yes, he was not there for you, but he can be there for those girls and make up and be a different person than he was with you. We can pray, even if it's back and forth. We know him. Let me just give him two
right, right.
seconds. He's special.
Yeah.
With your godfather, you lived it.
Yeah.
You lived it. Your god sister lived it. You know that he was a tyrant.
Yeah,
However,
but then when I saw you growing up, I saw such a strong woman who was independent, who was always working on the go, who was the best mother I can think of. You gave your daughter the best of everything. I would see you would prevent yourself from getting things for yourself to provide for her. So then I wonder, how does she make time for her, the woman, her, the person, Miriam, the woman? Because you're so busy being a mom and a father at the same time. How do you make time for you and not lose yourself in the process?
you know what? At times I felt that I didn't give myself the TLC that I deserved.
Mm.
So my disconnect from everything was going to get my hands, my feet, my hair, my massage. I had my membership at the Doral Spa. I'm sorry, at the Biltmore Spa, and I used to go there to disconnect and do my stuff. Mind you, at times your god sister was there with me, so it wasn't I couldn't even enjoy the time because I was always very vigilant of her being a minor. However, if I could do certain things differently, what would I have done? I would have stuck to my guns and I would have separated from him while I was pregnant.
I was about to ask you that when you are a single mother, when you are, because right now we're talking about single mothers. Eventually, I would love to talk to a single father, all right? Because I think that there's a lot of men out there. There are great fathers. There's a lot of men out there that decide to make that their responsibility, whether it's because the mother is unable to, whether for whatever X or Y reason, they decide to, I'm gonna be that father figure, mother figure. And for the most part, we see more single mothers than fathers, right? But how was it for you? Like, what was your circle, your support system? Because I know that not all single mothers have a support system. A lot of them immigrate, to this country by themselves and have to figure it out on their own. At least you had your mother. Who was your support system?
Yes, my support system was my mother. My main support system was my
Yeah,
mother.
my
I could
mom
always
is my
count on my
support
sister, but
system
my mother
too.
was everything.
Yeah.
Is everything. Like,
Hmm.
come on, your god sister calls my mom
Right, right.
and
I feel
calls me
I feel like
Mary.
I feel like my girls are gonna be the same with my mom.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think that now that you're having my babies, I will be
Oh,
able to enjoy them. Like I know that I used to take you guys when I had you wherever it needed to be, but I don't think I fully was able. I had so much going on up here.
yes. That you weren't
And
present.
right, like I know that I was there and I took you, but at the same time, you know very well, you guys used to be jumping around doing whatever, and I used to be trying to multitask and be on a business call at the same time because I
Right.
was trying to build for me.
Let me ask you this too. How do you feel that the fact that the father wasn't as involved in your daughter's life, um, how do you think that that affected her? Because I know that for example, I know that my father not being in my life affected me a lot. I didn't even realize it till years later. I didn't want to admit to it. We always find excuses. We find other reasons. Instead of hitting the core, you date these type of people because you are missing and you're lacking on this. You accept certain behaviors from certain men because you want to. It took me many years to understand that the not having the presence of a male figure, of a father figure in my life, affected the way that I date, the way that I see men, the things that I accept, the things that all types of things. How do you think that that affected your daughter? And does it affect or not?
it affects it. And it's different. I'm going to tell you why. Because even though he was, like I said, present when we used to have to travel for dance and stuff, and then maybe once in a blue moon pass through the dance studio, because her life was like yours,
Right.
in go to school and go to dance studio.
Right.
You were go to school, go to dance studio, and go to Univision because you
Right.
grew up on it. Let's be realistic. But but she was a daddy's girl. He was very much about her and obsessed. The day that I said, I can't do this anymore, he completely cut her off. And she was 13
Mm.
going on 14. That affected her more. This is why I say I regret letting my parents manipulate me and all, Yaneli tiene que criarse, she has to grow up with her father. Da, 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 da. Mind you, I mean, to the point that my parents lied to my daughter and said they were married, and she figured it out in fourth grade because they're very Catholic. But no, and I was like, when she found out, I was like, that's on y'all.
Right.
But it affected her because she grew up with him on, like, literally on top of her, like, oh, they used to do things together in other ways. He was just tag along or whatever you want to call it. But she was a daddy's girl. So when I said I didn't want to be with him anymore, and I said, listen, we could be friends. My mentality is very American when it comes to that.
Right.
He said, no, if you are not in my life, we cannot be friends. Okay, but I would have never thought in a million years he would have cut off his daughter. And I'm not talking about gradual. He went like this, gloom, gloom. You don't want to be with me? I don't want to be with.
And
I don't want to know about
there's a
my
lot of
daughter.
fathers that end up doing that they end up taking, and not just fathers, but let's get into the women too. I
Yes.
recently just saw a video clip of a woman abusing her child, recording it to show it and send it to her ex-partner, because she was like, if you're not going to be with me, then screw this kid, and she was just beating on the child. I feel that there's a lot of women and a lot of men that take out their frustrations out on their children, because they want to get back at the other person, without understanding and knowing how that can truly affect that kid's life. um, and then that's where I come in. I don't know if I'm doing this right. I don't know if I'm doing this wrong. Am I taking my personal way? I can know, because I know the way that I feel, and I know the way that I think, and I've seen what I've seen, and I know what I know, and I'm going to leave it at that. But for other girls that are out here listening, for other women that are out here listening, sometimes we really have to take in consideration, especially now, once you hit a certain age, dating has definitely had to be different. You have to know the type of people that, one thing is to have fun, and another one is that fun can turn into a whole life partnership with a child in the middle, that can get affected by your decisions. Whether you're pro-life or whether you're pro-choice, that's why you have to make sure that you know what type of people you're getting yourself involved with for situations like this. Like I said, I know that my father not being in my life truly affected me. That's why I feel that now as an adult, I would love to take therapy. I always tell people that I think that there's no specific age for therapy. I think that we all should take therapy. We all have traumas and things that we have to heal from. um and now I'm just trying to figure out, now as a single mother, how do I make time for myself? How do I not lose Amara fabulous, now becoming a mom of two, crying at the same time? How do I still be, I'm a businesswoman, and I'm, focused in my business? How do I make time for everything? Because I'm afraid that working so much, I won't be the best mother that I can be.
You're a working machine. We've had this conversation before. But you're also a Libra. So we
Yeah.
need to find balance.
Yeah.
Once, let me tell you, you're developing a sixth sense. You know what you want and don't want. When you start dating, I'm going to
Yes.
tell you, as someone who dated after, my daughter was
Yes.
big.
Oh my God. How do you date after you have a
Okay.
kid?
You've heard this story countless times. Your god sister's what, 28?
Mm-hmm.
I left her dad when officially 2007, what? She was like 14.
Mm-hmm.
Your god sister, by choice, this is me by choice, has never seen me with another man.
Mm.
But every guy that I date, I always think whether it's going to last a day or last in a couple of years. I always say, is this someone that I would want around my daughter? And especially when she was growing up,
Yes.
because I would be like, Are you going to look at her with eyes
Oh
of
my
like a father
God. Yep.
figure?
Hey, not just for the girls, for the boys también.
For the boys too.
Yeah, you
But
have to
when
be
you have girls, it's
careful.
more delicate because if they're voluptuous like we are, you know that you don't know if the guy you're dating is looking at her with eyes of a father or eyes of a man. And
Mm,
that's something that we always have to be careful with.
yes.
You're going to develop that sixth sense of can I even have you even as a friend sitting in my living room around my daughters? No, because you want to give them better. So never don't regret what you do. You live, you learn, and you move forward. You're not the first woman in this predicament, and you're not gonna be the last. You just have to learn from your mistakes and be like, I know for sure this is not what I want in my life or around my children, and make sure you don't repeat that pattern in a future partner.
And then here goes something else. Another mistake that I see the parents do a lot of times is they start to talk when they're single parents or single mothers, whatever. They end up telling their kids all the things that happened during the relationship, why their father is trash, why they're not involved in their life. And I feel like yes, it was good that my mom told me that my father was trash, but she also gave me the opportunity to see it with my eyes. Like she would let me call him and be like, look and see if he's gonna call you back. Never called me back. Or he would make promises and break them. Like, oh, I'm gonna give you $100 so that you can buy school supplies, and I'm still waiting for the $100 for the school supplies. Or I'm gonna go see you, or I'm gonna go do this, and he never did it. So she kind of allowed me to see with my own eyes that he wasn't the father that he should be. As a parent, should you tell your children when they ask, because all children ask when Father's Day come, when they see their friends with their fathers and they don't see that they have their father support, should you tell them certain things? How much should you say and what shouldn't you say?
It's all with time. It's
Okay.
all with time, and you're gonna know how to exactly what to tell them.
Okay.
As they get older, like when they're in their teenage, when they can really understand, there's gonna come a time where you need to sit down with them and be like, this was my life, this is what transpired, and whenever you girls are ready, if you ever want to know who that person who that person is, they'll tell you, yes, we do, or no, we don't, because you're going to create their world. Again, I applaud you so much. I know it's a hard situation because we all have that illusion of, I even went through it and I was married. We want the
The
happy
fairy
family like we see
tale.
other people.
Yeah,
I did not have that. And I was
yeah.
married.
Well,
I was
I
miserable.
wanted the fairy tale, the wedding, the picnics
The
on
fairy tale doesn't
Sundays.
exist.
Picnics on Sundays and the barbecues with the lemonade and all those things. And I'm gonna be honest, and I left this situation not because I was out of love. We didn't decide to break up because we stopped liking or loving each other or being in love with each other or whatever the case may be. It was just my decision to back away because I wanted to make the right decision for my children. But and I just wanted to clarify that because I've seen so many comments on social media. People can say whatever they want, and I'm just letting the people talk. Now that I have an opportunity to talk for 2 seconds, and I won't give too much details because out of respect, everybody keeps asking me, "What about the dad? What are?" I just felt like my life is so public and everything about me is so open. The one thing that I can keep to myself for a little bit is the privacy of my relationship and my personal life. And I wanna, out of experience, out of my last 2 seasons of Love and Hip Hop, I learned that people can be so judgmental, and those relationships that are public like that get a lot of pressure. It's more pressure on us when we have the whole world having an opinion about what you should do and what you shouldn't do. So I decided, you know what? For the father of my child, I am going to keep my opinions, my life, whatever happened between us to ourselves. This is personal, and I'll keep it at that, and I won't say more than I should. All I'm saying is at this moment in my life, at this moment in life, I just want to be the best mother that I can be for my children. And I'm trying to do the right thing. But it's different for every parent. That's why to me it was so important to have this conversation, because there's a lot of young girls, there's a lot of young women out here that are going through the same situation that I am, that don't know what to do, that don't want to end up feeling guilty, that don't want to jeopardize their kids later on, that you start to question yourself, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? Are my kids going to hate me? Are my kids going to ask me all these type of questions that I'm not going to know what to do? Should I let the father be involved? Should I not let the father be involved? When do I leave? When do I stay? There's so many questions. You just never know what is the right answer and when to do it.
I'm going to tell you one thing, and
give
hopefully
advice
this
to
will
the girls out there listening right now too that may be going through the same situation.
I'm gonna in your situation, but I think any girl should put this in broad. You were a product of having parents separate. Do you even remember when your dad was around when you were released? Because he
No.
left when you were like, no, you don't remember,
2.
right?
He left when I was
Almost
2.
2 or 2. You were like, yeah. Okay. So you don't really have a memory of him as a child.
No.
Besides the fact that your mom worked to the bone, because you see she's burned all over, to the bone.
Yeah.
Do you resent her or do you love and appreciate her?
No, I love and appreciate her the
Did
most.
she always give you a good example?
Of course, most definitely. I admire
Yeah,
her.
she did her job.
Yeah.
Look at you, how you turned out. She dedicated. I used to fight with her because I used to be like, they have her in Univision too late, da, 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 da. And I wanted to take you out, and I used to fight with her. But she had an idea that this could be an outlet because she didn't have the time to run around to take you to this dance class or this. And it had to be according. So that was the longest where you could go from dance to the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
You don't have any regrets of your mother and how you turned out.
No.
You're respectable, you're educated, you're a go-getter. You inherited her trademarks,
Yeah.
her marks, her personality. And you even developed something even bigger because the way you think and you evolve and you move is different. Of course, times have changed.
Right.
So all I could tell you is go with your sixth intuition. I promise you, Mama, me knowing the back end of the story, I am so proud of you.
Oh.
And I love
Thank
you.
I love
And
you
I love the
too.
girls. I love the
Thank
girls. I
you.
genuinely do. You know that they're not even here and everybody's going crazy. We're all excited. But genuinely, I am proud of the woman you have become.
Oh, thank
You've been through hell and back in this business. And everybody's always going to point and judge you.
Right.
But this is what you have to say. I am a public figure. Everybody has the right to their opinion. But at the end of the day, if you don't move and hustle and work, nobody's going to pay Amara's bills.
That's true. That's true.
Okay? So nobody's opinion can really bother you or cloud you up. I mean, you know what? All we have to do with baby daddy is be like, thank you.
And you know what? With that message, I want to leave it at that. And I love what you just said, and I want to leave it with that message. Who cares for all the single mothers out there, for all the single fathers out there? Who cares what anybody else has to say? Who cares, if people are going to have opinions about the way that you're raising your children or what you've done or what you haven't done? Who cares? You live for you. You be the best parent that you can be. Make the best decisions, the best choices that you can do. There is no guidebook on how to live your life. We're all here trying to figure it out. We learn day by day with our experiences, with all the things that have happened, good and bad in our lives. We decide what choices to make, how to make the best out of all situations. And at the end of the day, who cares what the world has to say? No one's going to pay your bills. No one's going to maintain your kids. No one's going to be there to support you unless it's the people that truly surround you and truly have love for you. And that's why today's conversation was so important to me about single mothers, single parents. And like I said before, I would love to talk to eventually to a single father because I know that men's experience is a little bit different from women's experience because for the most part, there's so many single mothers. Miriam, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so grateful to have you on Exactly Amara on this conversation. You are such an inspiration to me, to many women out here. You are inspiring without even knowing. Your daughter is a successful woman thanks to you and your hard efforts. And that's why I want you guys to, as always, remember to rate us, share this podcast with everyone that you know. Give us those 5 stars and make sure that if you know a single mother, if you know a girl that may be pregnant that's going through it or whatever the case may be, make sure to share this podcast with her or with him because this is definitely one of these heart-to-heart conversations that I wanted you guys to hear exactly from me. This has been a production of iHeart Radio's My Cultura podcast network. And for more podcasts, From iHeart, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. You already know it's your girl, Amara La Negra. I love you guys so much. And remember, who cares what the world has to say? You live your life the best way that you can. See you next Thursday.